Hello students, today I am going to explain you the 7th chapter of Honeycomb. The name of the chapter is The Invention of Vita Wonk by Roald Dahl. Objectives of this chapter are to enable you to read, write, speak and understand English, to make you familiar with the invention made by Mr. Willy Wonka, to enable you to develop thinking skill and imagine and write imaginary stories, to make you familiar with new words and phrases and use them in your practical life, to make you familiar with different kinds of trees and living things. Here I have collected a list of new words. The first one is old. Here it means advanced in age. He is too old to run. Disappear means vanish or invisible. The boy disappeared in a moment from the street. Giant, man of great size. The selfish giant knocked down the wall. Knuckle means bone at the finger joint. The boy has broken his knuckle. Elevator, a kind of lift. Recently, a new elevator has been arranged for VIP at Agra Kent railway station. Swallow means drink. Swallow the tablets whole with a drink of water. Squeeze means press hard. Mohan squeezed the egg with his hand. Grimalkin means a cat, particularly an old female cat. There was a grimalkin sitting on the wall. Key points of this chapter are: Mr. Willy Wonka, the scientist, invents a medicine named as Vita Wonka. This medicine makes people younger. Mr. Wonka mentions different kinds of trees in the lesson. They are Douglas fir, oak, cedar, bristlecone pine tree. He tells that the bristlecone tree lives the longest, for more than 4,000 years. We can find this upon the slopes of Wheeler Peak in Nevada, USA. He collected many different items from the oldest living things. They are toenail from a 168-year-old Russian farmer, an egg laid by a 200-year-old tortoise, the tail of a 51-year-old horse, the tail of a 207-year-old giant rat, the black teeth of a 97-year-old grimalkin, the knuckle bones of a 700-year-old catalu. Mr. Wonka prepared a black liquid by boiling and mixing of different parts of different living things. He gave 4 drops of the black liquid to a 20-year-old man named as Oompa Loompa. Here goes the summary of the chapter. Mr. Willy Wonka, a scientist. He was a scientist. He first invented a tonic, Wonka Vita, which made people younger. But it was such a powerful medicine that many people disappeared after their age went in minus. One person even became minus 87. The poor fellow had to wait for 87 years to come back. Willy Wonka decided to invent a new thing to undo the harm. He had to make people old. He wanted to know what the oldest living thing in the world was, or what lived longer than anything else. His assistant Charlie named tree, but the question emerged: which tree? It was certainly not the fir, oak or cedar. It was a tree called bristlecone that grew in Nevada, USA. Such trees were 4,000 years old. Wonka got into his great glass elevator and rushed all over the world. He collected special items from the oldest living things. He took a pin of sap from the bristlecone pine, the toenail clippings from a 160-year-old Russian farmer, an egg laid by 200-year-old tortoise, the whiskers of a 36-year-old cat, and so on. Mr. Wonka tracked down every very old animals and took a bit of something from each one of them. In the end, he boiled and tasted the product in his inventing room. He produced one small cupful of black liquid. He gave 4 drops of it to a brave young volunteer, Oompa Loompa, to see what happened. What was the result? Charlie asked. Mr. Wonka said that the effect of the medicine was swift and fantastic. The moment that young man gulped down those drops, he began growing old and wrinkled. His hair dropped off and his teeth also started falling out. In an instant, the 20-year-old boy became an old man of 75. In this way, Vita Wonk was invented. Thank you, students. I hope you have understood the chapter. For better understanding, please read the chapter thoroughly.